economic, social, and then it's going to be this major issue with children is going to require, if they don't do it, if they don't launch their own investigations, which is, let me say this to your viewers. If I'm a major media corporation, okay, for which I have billions invested in multiple ventures, enterprises, news, entertainment, television, okay, and I have a growing base of my customers levying allegations and charges against my product, the people that I employ, right, for which I'm responsible for employing. At minimum, as a smart business person, I would go, we have heard these complaints. If you think they're conspiracy, say that they're conspiracy, but we're going to do a full and transparent investigation to get to the bottom of these rumors to debunk them. But if we find people who it turns out were doing these things to children, they are going to be handed over to law enforcement and they're never going to work in our industry ever again. That's all they would have to say. Mm-hmm. And they won't do it. Mm. That's all Wayfair had to say. They should have launched an investigation that day and said, you know what, these allegations. They didn't say that. They justified the pricing on their website. Yeah. This is the tone deaf. These are tone deaf companies because there is something else going on. I'm not saying that every charge that's been levied against them is accurate, but you cannot sit here and tell me that the things that Chrissy Teigen has said about young children on Twitter give her any kind of protection when people come after her and she deletes 60,000 tweets. You cannot sit here and tell me that James Gunn, 2 years ago, when he was exposed by Mike Chernovich, calling it right-wing attacks, when a guy is joking about raping kids, and where was Me Too with him? Mm-hmm. He talked about ass raping a woman, and nobody said a damn thing about it.
Because it's covered under comedy. But
yeah, they put it under comedy, and it's like, but you're James Gunn working for Disney on a children's movie, and you have these actors coming out and signing a declaration to reinstate him. And if you read the Hollywood Reporter, this is straight out of the Hollywood Reporter, they're saying, yo, can't wait to hire this guy. It's like, excuse me, what the hell are you all talking about? You have writers that write children's. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really gross and disgusting, Anna. I look at it this way, like, okay, you have art and you have artists. And artists are a very special kind of person in the general sense because they're not the accountant, the lawyer, the doctor, the technician. They are expressive, sensitive people. Why that is, most of us come from a background where we didn't have the perfect childhoods. Let me say this. Nobody had a perfect childhood. We didn't have the structure in many cases that a lot of people have, for which, you know, life kind of is easy. For an actor, it's not easy to be your authentic self when you've got 30 people standing around you and you've got to give real emotions. That takes talent to do that. But here's the thing. We can have great, beautiful art and truthful art in a structure where people who are employing them utilize that expression to tell truthful things that enrich people, not exploit them further and use them for propaganda and use them for sex slaves and have them go out and recruit for A-level stars after they've been a sex slave because they get too old in their 20s to go recruit younger girls for that A-lister. This is all and more happening there. And these people, I mean, for them to get up there and tell you, I don't care if you're pro or anti-Trump, this is not the issue, but for them to even get up there and tell you what is moral and what is right and what is fair and what real tolerance and real diversity and real equality and what feminist empowerment is. It's a total and complete perversion of all of those things, completely. And coming from the mouths of these people, I know they feel it, but they have yet to look in the mirror of themselves and really ask themselves, are you truly what you say you are, or are you abusing your power so that you can indulge at the expense of other people? And that's really what this whole thing is about. In their world, they don't care. They really don't give a damn what anybody else thinks. And their justification is always like, well, you don't really know what it's like in the real world. Oh, no, I do. And I know that in the real world, if you were doing any of this crap out in the open, people would beat the crap out of you. More than likely, they would get law enforcement on you right away and make sure that you had a public trial and were gone from society for the rest of your life. Not on the basis of your character, but on the basis of the crimes that you've committed against people's free will and rights. And it's like, how do you, I'm just wondering, like, at a certain point, like, what do you think it's going to take for people to, I'm talking about this to the people in Hollywood. What do you think is going to happen to your industry when they find out this stuff has been going on for decades and goes back